So on this channel, I tend to talk about pensions and my preparation for retiring, but I've never really talked much about what my plans are for when I do actually retire, or more specifically, when that's going to be and what's holding me back. So if you asked me 10 years ago when I'd be retiring, I'd probably have said on my 55th birthday, which is in 3 days' time. So the reason I am not planning to retire in 3 days' time, well, there are a few really. So I've got a couple of young adults, son and daughter, who are both wrapping up at university over the next 12 months. So we want to provide some stability there. We also have, you've met, if you've been watching this channel, Pink, our Hungarian visitor. She's 9 now, so we're probably not going to be spending months and months abroad. We'll probably, when we do start to travel, be looking to mainly stay around the UK. I don't know if anyone out there has got a Hungarian visitor. They're absolutely beautiful dogs, but they can be a bit neurotic, and finding an appropriate dog sitter for them for any length of time is quite tricky. So we're also really lucky in that we live in a wonderful part of the world. That's our address and postcode up there. You're able to look us up on Google if you don't know the area, but fabulous place to live. House is too big for me and my wife, though. We've always known that we are going to downsize at some point, though stability for our 2 kids is the absolute priority. And moving the day they both leave university is probably not giving them the best chances to get themselves settled, really. So it's probably going to be 3 years before we think about moving, perhaps 2 years before we think about pulling the plug on full-time employment. And what does that look like? So we're both similar ages. I'm 55 in 3 days, and Tracy, my wife's 8 or 9 months younger. So we're both looking potentially to retire around the 55 mark. And what does that look like for us then? So we do, at some point in the future, once kids are settled, want to think about some travel abroad. Probably won't be for 5 or 6 years' time, but we would like to see a bit more of the UK. Particularly taking Pink around with us to, various different dog-friendly B&Bs, which we've been doing over the last few years and really enjoyed. In terms of any future employment, I'm not looking really. I'm hopefully going to be in a financial position, as long as the stock market doesn't do anything weird on us over the next few months. Not thinking that I'll particularly need to earn any income. But I've always had a passion for music. There's my saxophone here, if anyone spotted that. Always had a passion for music, and I'd like to continue to do that, particularly around music production, that kind of thing, because I do like sitting at a computer with a set of headphones on as well. I've always enjoyed that. So I can do that anywhere in the world. So if I am looking to earn a little bit of extra cash after I retire, it will probably be something in the music production area, but I don't want to rely on that. I'd like to, if I decide to, or nobody wants to hire my services as a music production, music producer more likely, then I'm playing coming over. I don't need really to particularly earn anything. I've also over the last year or so been writing a book, and I'm not expecting that to do anything financially, really. It's been therapeutic for me to get all my ideas down about investing for a pension, how to withdraw your pension through to what you should do when you retire, and how I'm going to manage my retirement. So that's been really fun for me, jotting that all down and turning that into a book, and hopefully in the next 6 months or so, maybe even sooner, I'll look to put that on Amazon. But I'm not looking at that as any source of revenue really. It's been really good for me to get my ideas and thoughts down there. One of the things I have talked about is a perceived or maybe real um, lack of me taking risks in with my pension funds, and I think I do feel that now, if you look at the S&P 500, the price to earn ratio is sitting up, above 25 at the moment, which does make me really uncomfortable. If it was sitting down below 20, I would have no qualms in taking some higher risks. But what I have done over the last few days is to start to think about my retirement investments into three pots really. So I have my the pension that I'm going to need to get hold of and withdraw within the next 10 years in a low risk profile. The stuff between 10 and 20 years is what I've been classed as medium risk. And then anything beyond 20 years, the savings that I have for then, I have started to buy some individual shares. I put a video out yesterday of me actually using Freetrade and going in and buying some shares. So I'll link to the video at the end of this if you're interested. But that's literally the process of going in, having a look, finding some shares that are of interest to me, and then going into my Freetrade SIP and actually buying the shares. So if anyone's interested in that, then I'll link to the video in the description and down below as well. So I hope to continue to make these videos, and thanks to everyone who's given us some wonderful comments and some ideas around retirement. And if you do get the chance to press a like on this video and subscribe, it will help me to widen the audience for this, and build even more community around people who are thinking about or have recently retired.